October 4th, 1957, the night America looked up and gasped. A small silver sphere crossed the sky. Not an airplane, not a star, but the first man-made satellite. The Soviet Union had launched Sputnik, and in that instant, the space race began. A race not just for space, but for supremacy of the human future. In Washington, fear spread like wildfire. If the Soviets could launch a satellite, they could launch a nuclear weapon from space. Overnight, America's greatest minds were called to action, a scientific awakening born out of fear. In 1958, the United States responded. NASA was born, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, a promise that America would never again be second in the skies. Just as NASA found its footing, Moscow struck another blow. 1961, Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space. The world cheered, but America felt the sting of defeat once more. Then came a voice that would change history. President John F. Kennedy stood before America and declared, "We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard." A dream became a mission. NASA's first step, Project Mercury, one man, one tiny capsule, and the hope of a nation. May 5th, 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American in space. For 15 minutes, America held its breath and found hope again. Next came Gemini, 2 astronauts, new technology, and practice for the moon. America learned how to walk in space. By 1966, both nations aimed for one goal, the moon. Rockets got bigger, missions bolder, and the Cold War sky turned into humanity's greatest race. December 21st, 1968, Apollo 8 became the first crewed spacecraft to orbit the moon. As the astronauts saw Earth rising over the lunar horizon, they realized this race wasn't just about nations, it was about humanity itself. July 20th, 1969, the moment the world held its breath. As Neil Armstrong stepped down the lunar module ladder, he whispered those immortal words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." America had done it. The impossible dream became reality. When Apollo 11 returned, millions filled the streets. America had proven its strength, science, and spirit. The space race was won, but the journey had just begun. While America celebrated, the Soviet Union retreated into silence. Their dream of beating the US to the moon had ended, but their ambitions in space had not. In 1970, disaster struck. Apollo 13's oxygen tank exploded mid-mission. "Houston, we've had a problem." Those words chilled the world. The mission to the moon turned into a mission for survival. Against all odds, the crew of Apollo 13 made it home, not because of luck, but because of teamwork, intelligence, and relentless human will. By 1972, Apollo 17 marked the final moon mission. The dream of lunar exploration had been fulfilled, but public interest faded, budgets shrank, and NASA's golden age seemed to close. Then came a new era, reusable spacecraft. The space shuttle symbolized rebirth, cheaper, faster, and closer to making space travel routine. But progress came with heartbreak. In 1986, the Challenger shuttle exploded just seconds after launch on live television. A nation watched their heroes vanish in a cloud of smoke. From tragedy rose cooperation. In the 1990s, NASA and Russia joined forces to build something greater, a permanent home in space, the International Space Station. By the 2000s, humanity looked beyond the moon, towards Mars. Robotic explorers like Spirit, Opportunity, and Curiosity rolled across alien soil. The space race had evolved from rivalry to discovery. July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong steps down the lunar module ladder, whispers those immortal words, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." America had done it. America had done it. The USSR watched in silence as the American flag waved on the moon. But the USSR was not finished. Behind closed doors, engineers planned Luna 16, a robotic mission to bring back moon samples. A silent comeback. The moon landing didn't end the rivalry, it just moved it higher. Now, satellites carried not just cameras, but surveillance eyes from space. In the 1970s, NASA soared beyond the moon with Skylab, space shuttles, and the dream of Mars on the horizon. The 1980s changed everything. The space shuttle wasn't just a rocket, it was reusable, futuristic, American engineering at its finest. Then came tragedy. Challenger, 1986. The explosion was a reminder. Space demanded respect, but America didn't stop. It rebuilt stronger. By the 2000s, a new race brought, not between nations, but between humans and technology. The International Space Station became the bridge between rivals. Then came SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, billionaires reigniting the dream. Rockets that land themselves, missions to Mars being planned. From Sputnik's beep to SpaceX's roar, the space race never truly ended. It just evolved. And the next destination? Mars, the new frontier of humanity.